Steve Odon is he's been through a lot in his young age. Steve's in his mid-20s, and he's gone through a battle so far in the 20-some years that he's been on this earth. He's a very special, very courageous survivor, just like many of you out there tonight, all very special to us and all very courageous. So Steve here is here to tell his story. Steve Odon.
Hi, my name is Steve Odon. I'm from Arlington Heights, and I went to Rolling Meadows High School. Sorry, Palatine high schoolers. A special fact about me is that I am a fan of Jason Mraz. I like his music. But if I think about his music too much, it honestly kind of makes me sick. And it's not because he's a bad artist or anything. It's really because my stomach starts to hurt. It's not just my stomach, it's my whole body. You see, Jason Mraz released his first chart-topping CD 4 years ago. It was amazing. I listened to it all day, every day. And also, 4 years ago, I was diagnosed with testicular cancer. I was a senior in high school. I listened to Jason Mraz all through my chemotherapy. Today, when I hear any song off that album, I think about my chemotherapy experience, and I think about that pain and all that nausea and the sickness and frustration that I went through. It's sort of mind-blowing, sort of cool, and sort of unnecessary. You see, 17-year-olds should not have cancer. Maybe I'm being selfish, but really anyone shouldn't have cancer. But at 17, that's unbelievable. It's way too young. I still can't wrap my mind around it, and I don't think I ever will. It didn't help that it was testicular cancer either. I didn't want to tell anyone. It's ball cancer. That's kind of embarrassing. Just a side note, you can crack any ball joke at me, and I've heard them all, so. What kid wants to talk to their 17-year-old friends about a part that's developing? That's embarrassing. Well, I didn't tell anyone for quite a long time. I noticed that there was something funky going on down there long before I entered a doctor's office. I thought it was the athlete in me. You see, athletes want to leave the game. They don't want to leave the game. They want to be the hero. So I thought that this problem would go away with time, but in cancer, time is everything. The sooner you get to a doctor with a cancer symptom, the better your chances are of survival, the less treatment you'll receive. I waited close to 6 months before I told anyone that something was wrong. But I told my dad, and we started to take action, and soon my private parts became public. Within a week, it felt like 50 people touched my balls. After some doctor searching, my game plan was to use the regimen that Dr. Einhorn, kind of cool fact, he was Lance Armstrong's doctor. He made my plan, and it was followed by a local oncologist, Dr. Gary Grad. The day I found out my perfect oncology fit, I started chemotherapy. Everyone knows chemotherapy is tough, so I'd like to give you the highlights of my chemotherapy experience. Number one, I do not look good bald. I got some funky areas in my head. It does not look good. However, at high school, when I did find out I was going to lose my hair, instead of just chopping it all off, I went to school in my homeroom and I had all my friends cut my hair for $1. One snip, $1, and I donated that to the American Cancer Society. That was $64. That was cool. Number two, I became the pickiest eater. Cancer kills all the fast-growing cells in your body, and so that's your hair cells, your stomach cells, that's why people get nauseous, and your tongue cells, and that's why I became a picky eater. In fact, the first week of chemo, I woke up one morning, I didn't know what I wanted for breakfast, and I craved a quiche. Do you know what a quiche is? It's like an egg pie. It's gross. I told my dad I want a quiche, and he went to Jewel and bought like 7, and he like carries them and like brings them in. And I have a quiche. It was great. That's what I wanted all day. The next morning I woke up and I didn't want quiche anymore. And I think the quiche is still in our freezer. That's 4 years. That's gross. Excuse me. Number 4, my closest friends grew closer to me. And my friends outside that circle grew further apart from me. It's kind of a sad fact, but I believe that cancer brings people together. And I think my network is so much tighter, and I have some friends that I don't believe I would have been friends with if I had that cancer experience, and those people who really touched me when I was going through that. In fact, a couple of my close guy friends, they all shaved their head with me, so I wasn't the only bald kid. It's kind of nice of them. Number 6, I was the first patient admitted in the year 2008 on January 1st at like 12:01 to Northwest Community Hospital. Go me. And number 7, the worst part about chemo was knowing that I was going to survive. That was a hard fact for me to face. In fact, during my treatment, I would talk to people who didn't have quite such a good prognosis as me, and it was really hard to meet them and to talk about that with them. But I wish I could trade my life, any part of my life, so that theirs could live on. Unfortunately, their lives had to come to a close, and part of the reason why I relay is for those people that I met during my experience. After chemo, that ended in about April-ish 2008, I wanted to give back. I wanted to do something big. I was sick of sitting around and trying to think about how to help, and so I tried to give back. The biggest thing I could think of was right there at U of I, where I went to school. Last summer, actually 2 summers ago now, I rode my bike across the country from New York to San Francisco, raising money for cancer research. I rode with a group of 28 students from the University of Illinois. Thank you. I'm not in that good of shape now, so I apologize. I rode with 28 different students, 14 girls, 14 guys from the University of Illinois. We were called the Illini 4000. We rode for one cause and one cause only, and that was cancer. We were the Illini 4000 for cancer, against cancer. I don't know what adverb we chose. That's not an adverb. This ride gave me the opportunity to see cancer as it is interpreted across America. I'd like to give you some highlights from that trip. Number 1, I had the chance to visit the Mayo Clinic and the American Cancer Society Hope Lodge in Rochester, Minnesota. If none of you know what a Hope Lodge is, it's actually really cool. It's like a hotel for cancer patients who need to travel a long distance. So instead of traveling 2 hours for their chemo treatment, people stay in these Hope Lodges to get their treatment. It was really nice and convenient for those. Number 2, I took a bath on a lake. That was interesting. The fishes were eating my soap bubbles. I began to realize the amount of people who were affected with cancer. Every stop, that was 72 days, about 65 different towns across America, I met someone who was afflicted by cancer. It's not just in my hometown. It's not just in Champaign, Illinois, where I go to school. It's everywhere. And that was just kind of mind-boggling to see. I cried as the group went into Chicago, our homeland, and also crossing the Golden Gate Bridge, the end of the ride. And an interesting fact, I found that having one less nut made riding on a tiny bike seat a whole lot easier. I think I was the fastest rider. Yeah, you can laugh. After the summer riding and fundraising, the Illini 4000 donated about $115,000 to the American Cancer Society. I myself, I rose about $7,000. I was really proud of that amount. My goal for the summer was to make cancer more conversational. I think that's something that's hard to do. In every town I tried to approach someone and talk about cancer. It's an awkward subject, it's a hard subject, but once you open it up, you will be surprised about the stories you hear and the hearts that warm up to you. In order to help fight cancer, you must not be afraid to talk about it, because if no one talks about it, nothing gets done. It's strange to call myself a cancer survivor. It's also strange to tell someone else that I am a cancer survivor. Sometimes I feel guilty being a cancer survivor. You think of those who have died, their character, their passion for life, and you wonder why it was you that survived. One thing that I get a lot is people coming up to me and thinking that I accomplished something by going through cancer. I know it's tough, but really, when someone's diagnosed with cancer, they're really going through the motions in order to keep their life. But you should commend them for their spirit during cancer and the friendships that they keep during cancer and the hope that they have for everyone else afflicted by it. Being a cancer survivor is my life sentence, my creed, and my mission. For myself, being a cancer survivor does not mean that I struggled through the cancer treatment process. Instead, being a cancer survivor means that I do not stop fighting, but rather, I'm a leader. I fight back tooth and nail alongside patients, caretakers, survivors, family, and friends. Fighting cancer is in fact really, really hard. But we will never stop finding ways to fight for those who are struggling with cancer. A hug, a friendly phone call, a cooked meal, donations, going in for checkups, eating right, exercising, quitting smoking, that one's my favorite. The list is endless. This is why I love Relay for Life. Each and every one of you have been touched by someone, somewhere with cancer. Among us are caretakers, families, friends, patients, and survivors from all walks of life. Although our stories may be different, the message is clear. Stand up and speak out. My fight will never be over, as should yours never be. Thank you very much.